Okay, we're here today with Gardner Tackle, doing a bit of filming on my lake Springwood fishery on this lovely sunny November morning. And we're going to be talking about a few different rigs and presentations that I use, particularly as we come into the autumn months and in through to the winter. You can see here basically just a standard chod rig, well documented rig. It's a rig that I use on, probably represents about 5 to 10% of my fishing, no more than that. It's a good rig, you know, obviously it's caught lots and lots of good fish. I think there's better rigs out there for sure. As I say, it only represents a small part of my fishing normally during the spring months, where I really think it does come into its own. I'm going to be talking about several variations of rigs that I use, from the choddy right the way through to my balanced bottom bait rigs that I tend to prefer. You know, we'll go into that as we move on, particularly laying a lot of emphasis onto my hook bait presentation, and the fact that I much prefer to use cork dust pop-ups as opposed to cork ball pop-ups, which might surprise some people, but you'll see the benefits of that in a little while. And so we're going to start off with a choddy. There it is, a basic choddy, and we're going to talk about a few components I use from Gardner Tackle as we go through. Okay, so sticking with the chod rig for the time being before we move on to other more favoured presentations I tend to use. You can see here I've got a length of lead core. I've been using the Gardner plummet lead core. Been recently helping them develop a new one, this is the prototype that I'm holding at the moment, and I'm very, very pleased with it. It's soon to be released. It's got a really nice fleck to it, lovely and supple. It's got all the attributes you really want for a presentation, good presentation. It's available in a couple of different colours at least. And so moving on from that, you can see the bead resting up against the flexi ring there. Obviously you're going to be setting that at different distances depending on the weed or silt that the depth that you're fishing in. I'm using the silicone tubing there with one of the covert safety beads, which have got a tapered bore pushed over the top of the silicone. The beauty about that is in the event of a break off, it's really safe because the flexi ring just pulls it off and the fish can get rid of the hook. So looking down at the other end of the rig, it's attached underneath that silicone. I've got a small speed link in there, which obviously enables you to change the lead quickly as you need. It's got the silicone pushed over and another safety bead there to protect. And I've got a size 12 flexi ring swivel there that's got the large ring obviously onto the lead core, and I prefer the tripwire, the Gardner tripwire in 25 pound. They do it in a few different breaking strains. I personally prefer the 25 pound breaking strain. You get a lovely curve on that. Other people have preferences and prefer the 20 pound, but you can get a good curve on that. As you can see from that shot, you really need that. My favoured hook pattern and hook is the Gardner chod hook. That's a size 6. That tends to be the size I prefer. Obviously it's going to be dependent on the size of your bait as well. Really, really good, reliable hook, extremely sharp. Lovely pattern, got a nice covert colour to it, so it's well camouflaged. And it's just a reliable hook. I find them sharp enough out the packet, but I might just check them and very occasionally just run a point doctor just across the point to just give it a little bit of sharpness if needed. But they're so super sharp, and the pattern, I'm really, really happy, you know, very, very reliable with that. And as you can see, you've got a small ring there on the back of the hook, a small covert ring. That's not the really miniature small ones, not the mini small ones, just a standard small. But most importantly there, you can see it attached to I've got a B5 corker pop-up there, which is a cork dust pop-up, and I much prefer cork dust pop-ups rather than cork ball pop-ups. And that might surprise a lot of people, but I'm going to actually go through the benefits in a little while of what the benefits of using a cork dust pop-up as opposed to a cork ball pop-up when you drill them out, and which I'll go into in a minute. But I much prefer that. You get perfect presentation. You could leave that out there for a week. Hopefully you'd have a bite by then, but obviously, you know, and you put the presentation in the margins and it'll still be popped up exactly the same on this method. So there you go, that's my standard chod method that I use for probably 5 to 10% of my fishing. and we'll talk about other components and rigs in a short while.